welcome to your Superman news video for the week January 31st to February 6, 2014. Here are the top stories in this week's Speeding Bulletin. Jesse Eisenberg has been cast as Lex Luthor for the upcoming Superman-Batman movie. Geoff Johns and John Romita Jr. will take over as the new creative team on the Superman comic book. And the New Adventures of Superman Seasons 2 and 3 will be released on DVD. Let's jump in and find out more about these stories and others. In movie news, the big news of the week was the official announcement from Warner Brothers that Jesse Eisenberg has been cast to play Lex Luthor and Jeremy Irons will play Alfred in the upcoming Zack Snyder untitled Superman-Batman film. Snyder stated that Lex is a complicated and sophisticated character whose intellect, wealth and prominence position him as one of the few mortals able to challenge the incredible might of Superman. Adding, having Jesse in the role allows us to explore that interesting dynamic and also take the character in some new and unexpected directions. The press release also stated that the new film is currently being written by Chris Terrio from a screenplay by David S. Goyer. Charles Roven and Deborah Snyder are producing, with Benjamin Melniker, Michael Uslan, Wesley Collar, David S. Goyer and Geoff Johns serving as executive producers. Matt Damon, who is a longtime friend and colleague of Ben Affleck, spoke to MTV.com about having seen the Batman costume for the upcoming movie and says he thinks the storyline for the film is great.
You by any chance, has Ben shown you like the Batsuit look? Has he shared that look? I mean, I know there are pictures going around.
I've seen a picture. I have seen a picture. It's excellent. And I've talked to him about the storyline, and it's great. I've known him for 30-something years. I'd be the first guy being like, buddy, what are you doing? But I think the movie's going to be great.
He's making the right call?
Yeah, definitely.
In an interview with MovieHole.net, Robert Maximus McDonald, the general manager and training director at Jim Jones in Salt Lake City, Utah, reveals how dedicated Henry Cavill is in his training to get back into shape to play Superman in the follow-up to Man of Steel. He said, "I would say that his fitness is progressing every single day, and not just in terms of looks, but also in terms of what I call real genuine horsepower. I think people even in the exercise world would be shocked with what he can actually lift, what he can actually do." Rennie Cowan attended the West Coast premiere of Justice League War on behalf of the Superman homepage, where she conducted red carpet interviews with the cast and crew of the new DC Universe animated original movie. You can check out the collection of video interviews at the Superman homepage now. Warner Brothers Animation released a number of preview clips from Justice League War, which is now available to order from our online store as a Blu-ray combo pack or on DVD. In one of the preview clips we see the newly formed Justice League going toe-to-toe in battle with Darkseid and his parademons. In the latest issue of Empire magazine, which focuses on Bryan Singer's new X-Men movie X-Men Days of Future Past, the director was also asked about Superman, his thoughts on Henry Cavill, and what people think of Superman Returns all these years later. As for his thoughts on Man of Steel and Henry Cavill, he said, "Yeah, I saw it when it came out. I think Henry is great. I knew Henry. He and I were friends years ago. Oddly enough, the reason I didn't cast him was because I was making a sequel to Christopher Reeve and I wanted somebody who embodied Reeve more." The HenryCavill.org fan site caught up with Dean Cain, who played Superman in the TV series Lois and Clark, and asked him for his opinion on Henry Cavill as Superman or what he thinks of the casting news for the follow-up to Man of Steel. He said, "I think Henry did a great job and I look very much forward to seeing this next version and how it continues to evolve." In TV news, Warner Home Video announced the upcoming release of Seasons 2 and 3 of the New Adventures of Superman cartoons from Filmation. Season 2 was known as the Superman Aquaman Hour of Adventure and saw Superman share adventures with other DC Comics heroes. Season 3 was titled the Batman Superman Hour and saw the show format change again in 1968. Sadly, the Superboy and Crypto segments are missing once again. You can pre-order the New Adventures of Superman Seasons 2 and 3 on DVD from our online store for its June 3rd release. Thanks to La La Land Records, the Superman homepage is pleased to be able to give away 3 copies of the limited edition Superman the Animated Series 4CD soundtrack. To enter the contest, you simply need to answer our contest question found on the entry form page. Entries close on Thursday night, February 27th, so head to our website now to get into the running to win this great CD collection. In comic book news, DC Comics has officially announced that writer Jeff Johns and artist John Romita Jr. will come on board as the new creative team on the Superman comic book title. IGN.com posted the first interview with John Romita Jr. about his new appointment. As for what he plans to bring to Superman, he said, "Honestly, the only thing I can do is stay within myself on this. I've said before I'm a little bit intimidated for the sole purpose that there are so many people who have done it before me and done it very well, exceptionally well, iconic versions." In an interview with Newsarama.com, comic book writer Tom Taylor talks about Earth 2 and the recent trend of stories with the corrupted Superman. He said, "I love Superman, I want to write him good, he is so good when he's good, but there's something appealing when true good gets corrupted. There's something appealing in that story and I understand that, even if I wish it were otherwise." The Justice League will meet up with stars of the NBA when TNT's Inside the NBA TV host Ernie Johnson and analysts Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley team up with Superman, Green Lantern, The Flash and Steel in a game of basketball unlike any seen before. The crossover occurs in the Justice League Goes Inside the NBA All-Star Edition, a new limited edition comic book that will be distributed for free at the NBA All-Star Jam session in New Orleans from February 13th to February 16th. Cover artwork for Action Comics number 15 is set to be auctioned off in the latest Vintage Comics and Comic Art Signature Auction at Heritage Auctions in New York this month. Artist Fred Gardner's image of the Man of Steel from Action Comics number 15 is the earliest Superman cover art known to exist and is expected to fetch over $200,000 when it goes under the hammer starting February 20th. Comic books we reviewed this week included Superman number 27, which was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who said, "There is a lot to like here and equally a lot to hate," but he still gave it a 4 out of 5. Adam also reviewed Teen Titans number 27, giving it a 1 out of 5, saying, "Superboy was a moustache-twitching idiot via internal monologues." Adventures of Superman chapter 40 was reviewed by Alyssa Gossage, who gave it a 4 out of 5, saying, "I love that Superman is amused by Joker's attempts to demean him." T.A. Hewitt reviewed Justice League Beyond 2.0 chapter 12, saying, "Justice League Beyond is a solid read and an excellent example of how heroes and ensemble pieces should be handled," and he gave this chapter a 4 out of 5. And Smallville Alien chapter 7 was reviewed by Matt Short, who said, "It's good to be back in this storyline," and he gave this chapter a score of 4 out of 5. Superman comics available this week from February 5th include Adventures of Superman chapter 41 digital comics, been available since February 3rd. Action Comics number 28, which is available in a variant cover. Earth 2 number 20, which is also available in a variant cover. Forever Evil number 5, which is available in a villain variant cover, a Black Adam cover, a Sinestro cover, and a digital combo pack. Green Lantern Red Lanterns number 28 features Supergirl. Smallville Alien chapter 8 digital comic will be available February 7th. Justice League Beyond 2.0 chapter 13 digital comic will be available February 8th. JLA Volume 4 trade paperback, and Superman Family Adventures Volume 2 trade paperback.
Customise your iPhone 5 with the smart-looking Superman coverall case. Grab the Superman hardshell case iPhone 5 protector for $19.95. Or how about this treasure-designed vintage Superman iPhone 5 case for just $14.99. These and other great iPhone covers are available from your one-stop Superman shop. The Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop.
In other news, back in 2001, DC Comics and General Mills teamed up to bring fans custom editions of Justice League comic books inside specially marked boxes of American breakfast cereals that included Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Golden Grahams, Honey Nut Cheerios, Lucky Charms and Trix. Now in 2014, the two companies are continuing that tradition with a series of 4 new exclusive DC comic books available free inside specially marked boxes of Big G cereals, and a 5th book available exclusively at Target stores in boxes of Cheerios. The stories being told in each of the 5 comic books will once again be continued online on a microsite located at bigcerealheroes.com. Medicom Toys has revealed details on Wave 2 of its DC Sofubi figures, which will include both Superman and Bizarro. Available to pre-order from the February edition of the Previews catalogue for their release in July, the DC Heroes Sofubi figures stand at 9 inches tall and will sell for $79.99. The Superman homepage Super Trivia Quiz has been updated for another month. The 3 questions we're asking you this time around are: in which ocean did the world engine land in the movie Man of Steel? What country did Lex Luthor tell General Zod he wanted for himself in the movie Superman 2? And in the Fleischer Superman cartoon titled Electric Earthquake, what geographic area does the Native American man claim belongs to his people? If you think you know the answer to all 3 questions, come by the site now to submit your entry. That's all the Superman news there was for the week January 31st to February 6th. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone, and welcome to another evil, nefarious, dark, dangerous, unscrupulating episode of Great Scott. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty V. It's good to see you. So, Jesse Eisenberg has been announced as being cast as Lex Luthor in the new Man of Steel sequel, the follow-up to the expanded universe that Man of Steel set up for us, the Superman / Batman / Wonder Woman, whatever movie we're actually going to get. More and more things come out every day to make it sound like it's not going to be a Man of Steel sequel at all, even though Lawrence Fishburne and Amy Adams are going to be back, along with Diane Lane and Henry Cavill. But we also have Ben Affleck, and we have Alfred, who, by the way, I actually think that the casting is very good. We'll talk about that at another time. But now, of course, we have the young Jesse Eisenberg, the 9-year-old Jesse Eisenberg, the runaway from zombies and make sarcastic quips Jesse Eisenberg, the curly-haired, blonde-haired, young-looking boy, Jesse Eisenberg. He's apparently actually 30 years old, which I think makes him older than Henry Cavill, although I would have said Henry Cavill was older than him by at least 10 years, just because Jesse looks like a petulant little child. I actually like Jesse Eisenberg. I saw him in Zombieland, and I think I've seen him in 1 or 2 other things. I did not see the Facebook movie, which he was nominated for awards. I can't remember if he actually won any, and I'm sure he's a fine actor, and I enjoyed him in Zombieland. Zombieland was a comedy, it was goofy, it was meant to be zany and silly, and that was fantastic. But here's my thing. I really had hoped that we were finally going to get it right, you know, because I thought Man of Steel was really good, and even though people had some complaints about it, I thought, you know, with a sequel, with a follow-up, with a shared universe, with other things going on, we could really maybe fix some of the things people had a problem with. But then they kept adding character after character after character, and to me, the more characters you add, the more conflict you add, the more things you add, the less time you have for the character work, the actual in-depth stuff, the study that people were looking for, that would be about character as opposed to about plot and or action. So now we have Lex Luthor, which was the rumor all along. We had heard Joaquin Phoenix. We had heard Bryan Cranston, who strangely enough played a guy named Heisenberg, and now we have Jesse Eisenberg. And Deadline has come out and announced that there's been a quote from Zack Snyder about how happy he is to have somebody like Jesse Eisenberg playing the role, because we can finally delve into the depth of Lex Luthor's character. He's not just a nefarious bad guy, but he's got great depth, he's got personality, he's got a backstory, he's got a reason for being who he is, and we can really, with an actor like Jesse Eisenberg, we can really explore that, and for the first time, blah, 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 blah. I felt this way when Smallville came out, because all the articles were Smallville finally delving into Clark Kent's past, and we finally see that Clark Kent is the man, and Superman is the creation. Everybody always glazing over the Dean Cain show, which was one of the best portrayals of the characters. The action wasn't great, and it was corny at times, but the love story between Lois and Clark, the surrounding cast, the way they interacted, his parents, that kind of thing, did show us that Clark Kent was the man, and it only made sense because he had grown up with Earth parents. And now here we go again with them saying, finally we can see. And we saw some of it on Smallville with Lex Luthor. I love the way Michael Rosenbaum and John Glover, the interplay there, and the way it showed how Lex Luthor got darker and darker. And he was trying to be a good guy, but he had issues and he had things going on. But it looks like with the casting of somebody like Jesse Eisenberg, this tiny little skinny little young looking kid, that we're going to go that route again, and we're going to be a Smallville knockoff, when I wasn't all that happy with most of the 10 years of Smallville. There was some of it I liked, and of course I'm not the only one they're trying to please, but that was a teeny bopper show on a teeny bopper network that took a different spin to look at the relationship between Clark and Lex, even though they never met when they were kids. There were some stories in the comics where what if they had, and at one point the continuity had them meeting when Clark was Superboy, which doesn't exist and didn't happen anymore at this point, but could happen again in the future, and that's fine. I'm not all that concerned about what they might change or how they might go about it, even though I still am wishing for a canon, continuity, comic book-based Superman project, and Man of Steel felt like it, even though they changed some things. And now I was kind of hoping that they would cast a more imposing and older looking. Yeah, Bryan Cranston, people were saying, was too old. Joaquin Phoenix, weird choice, but around the right age, I thought, or looked the right age and has the depth to play the character. I think Jesse Eisenberg can certainly play whatever it is they're going for, and I'm sure he'll be a fine choice for whatever it is they write. My issue is more that I was hoping that they would write something more like what I wanted to see. The bigger Lex, the businessman Lex, the really confident Lex, the superior Lex. And Eisenberg can play some of those things, but I don't know what his size is, but he looks like he's about 90 pounds, 9 years old, and 4'9". I'm sure, and I have no offense, Mr. Eisenberg. I liked you in Zombieland. You're a great actor. You've been nominated for awards, and that might be what they're going for. I did an episode not too long ago about how many Superman actors have actually been involved with awards or won awards or been in movies that have won awards, and that's a good way to go. We've got a great cast already. We're casting good people for the Batman parts. We've got Gal Gadot, who's kind of unproven at this point, but I think could be great. And Jesse Eisenberg's a great actor. It's really against type, and I think it seems to me to be not because of the acting, because I'm sure he can pull off whatever they write. He seems like a great actor, but for look and for style and for who I thought Lex Luthor would be, worst casting ever. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, wrong!